Good morning, Central Coast, and welcome to Rhema CC. It's awesome to have you guys here with us, so welcome. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you've had a pretty fantastic one. We've had a pretty fantastic one here at the station. It's been awesome to have so many different experiences this week. Obviously, we are sort of wrapping things up. We've been wrapping things up over, the last 24 hours-ish with our mid-year appeal. Thank you so much for your support with that. And we just, thank you for your prayers, anything you're able to offer in terms of financial assistance or just your support has just been truly, truly appreciated. The door's always open. You're more than welcome to offer anything else. We will gladly take whatever you can offer. But what you have done is such a huge help. So thank you. What a week it's been. We've had movies, we've had barbecues, we've had all sorts of cool things. Just connecting with the community. Hope you've been able to make that to to any or all of those. The open day was another big event this week, so that was great yesterday. Thank you for stopping in if you're able to, and it's just been really cool to just be able to connect with you guys as our community. And it's as I said, we do really appreciate the support. We appreciate the connection, and we love that you're connecting with each other. So keep doing it. It's been really nice. I know for myself, I sat there on Wednesday night at the movies, and I just looked around at all the different people from all different churches, all different denominations. I just thought, this is how the church is supposed to be. Let's just get together. Let's have some fun. Let's just enjoy being God's kids together. And I think it's awesome that, the guys here have organised events like we had at Tagra Theatres. That was really cool. And what a great movie. Did you guys enjoy it? If you saw Unsung Hero, I enjoyed it. As a mum of 7, I sat there and thought, some of these things look all too familiar to me. I've sort of lived some of these experiences. But it was a good movie. And I hope if you haven't had a chance to see it, that you can. It was a good one. But that's just kind of derailing from where we've been or where I was going to go this morning. So I will get into things. Let's just start off with the fact that we were just listening to Never See the End by Amanda Cook, because it's actually a really good place for us to sort of move from, because I have been sitting on sort of the theme for today of talking about those moments that get a little bit too weary, those moments that you just kind of go, I'm done, I'm exhausted, I've got nothing, I'm sort of burnt out, I've got nothing else to give. And it's a pretty normal place to be if you've been pushing yourself and not finding any answers or any responses to anything. It can get very, very tiresome. So I want to sort of touch on that this morning. I want to sort of go there and just explore it with you guys. What do we do? What do we do when there's a problem like this? What do we do when there's things that leave us exhausted? All right, we're going to leave it there for a bit, but come back and we will explore some more. I'll see you guys soon. Keep your head up. That was 5 by Fireflight. Guys, you are listening to Rhema CC. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host, and it is a delight to be spending some time with you yet again this Sunday morning. So I hope you're having a good one. I hope that things are going reasonably well, and that life is sort of settling a bit. If things have been a little bit chaotic, that you've kind of got a chance today just to unwind and settle and just take some time and just enjoy God. He is a God of blessings, a God of, he's a good God. Let's just stick with that for the moment, and I'll explore a little bit further as we get on. We're talking weariness today. We're talking things, along the lines of, what do we do when we're exhausted, when we're tired? Well, thankfully for us, we have been given the truth that we've got a God who carries us, who assures us that he has got our back, that he will restore us, that he will renew us and refresh us. Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Ain't that an awesome truth? Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now, how cool is that? We can just simply know and be restored by the truth that we can just plonk it before God and just go, hey, thanks, Jesus. I'll leave this before you. I'm just going to take a little wander. I'm going to go have a rest, and you can sort it out for me. I know for myself, it's been like that this week. I've psychologically had to do that. It's been a pretty intense week in terms of more life changes. I know I've spoken to you guys about different things that have happened in my life in recent years and in recent months. This week we faced our third house move in 14 months, and I'm beyond I'm beyond over moving. So yeah, it's pretty intense in terms of if you look at stress, like in terms of stress levels, from just a perspective. If you like, there is actually a special quiz you can do where you can look at different life events that trigger stress or have a weariness, attached to them, and that can be one of the highest ones is moving house. So to move house 3 times within 14 months, yeah, it's heavy stuff. And I know that this has been something I have psychologically and prayerfully had to do this week, just to go, God, I'm tired. I can't do any more than what I'm able and physically able, and still juggle all the responsibilities of kids and family and husband. And not that he expects a lot. He doesn't really expect anything, actually. He's, solo man. But anyway, but for the most part, it's just trying to juggle those responsibilities with the heaviness of things that just pop up and you're like, here we go again. So I get it, guys. I get that we can have times where we are just exhausted. We're just really, really tired. And the stress of decisions that other people make, or situations that sort of unfold that leave us a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Tied down or sort of restricted. It can be a really stressful event. But I just want to urge you, if you are someone who is in those situations at the moment, if you're feeling it, if you're feeling the weight of what's going on around you or the stuff that involves you, hold on to it. Matthew 11:28-30. He's got you. He really, really does have you. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for a bit. I will come back and we'll talk more on weariness, on fatigue, on being God's army and standing up amongst the stuff that's hard. And I will see you guys soon. For now, this is Same God by Hannah Kerr. See you soon. And welcome back, Coasties. You are joining us here at Rhema CC. Thank you for spending some time again with us this morning. I hope you're having a good one. Hope things are going okay and that you're just having a nice time with, life or family or friends or whatever, whatever's happening for you at the moment. I just hope it's a good thing. Guys, we just listened to Evidence by Josh Baldwin, and what a beautiful place for us to start. We've been talking weariness this morning. We've been talking fatigue. We've been talking things along the lines of, I'm exhausted, I'm done, I've got nothing to give. And I think there's a part of us, I think we as a society are tired. I think there's been so many things that we've been battling together over really the last 4 or 5 years. We've been sort of one hit after another, or whether it's floods, whether it's fires, whether it's financial situations, health. We've taken quite a good hit from a few different places, and it gets wearing, doesn't it? That's in addition to just the stuff that pops up in our own lives, just the everyday stuff, or the stuff that leaves us kind of baffled, like it's intense, it's big, it's heavy. So it makes sense that we are tired, that people are feeling it. But I want to just give you a moment of why I am exploring this today. Now, a few months ago, I attended it was a prophetic ministries day. I can't think of the name of, I can't think of the actual name of the day, but it was at Hope You See a couple of months ago, or about, maybe it might have only been about a month or 2 ago. I have no idea, no concept of time at the moment because my brain's fried. But I went into it not really knowing what to expect. I kind of went, I've experienced a lot of these sort of things, but I can't make sense of prophecy myself. I'm still trying to explore it. There's a lot of things in my life that have happened that I kind of go, oh my goodness, God told me about that. I just didn't put the dots together at the time. So I get it. Prophecy is a real deal. And I sort of thought, well, hey, I'll go along to this thing and just see what it's about. From the moment I walked into that door, into those front doors at the church, I had it was the most bizarre experience, because it was like this real tugging and this real pulling. I felt God turning me towards, particularly my part of the region in Central Coast that we work with, and praying over it, specifically just going, God, do your work in that space, in this place, move through this region, through the Central Coast. It was this stirring of, I'm pleading with you, God, do what you need to do. It was this deep, heartfelt prayer. And as I'm talking this morning, I can still feel it. It's an overwhelming sense of, I'm asking you, God, do what you need to do. And in that, I think I just want to echo what I heard. And I heard the words, march on. Now, what does that look like? For me, I kind of understood it at the time that it was almost like God was giving me this scene of an army rising. an army standing together and an army ready to fight in battle. But I'm not talking the kind of battle that we think of when we think of war. I'm talking spiritual battle. I'm talking that God is calling us, even though we are weary, even though we have the distractions, we have things constantly thrown at us that are just those things that pull us away from what he is calling us to do. I'm talking that he is, along those lines, that he is stirring our community, guys. If you are a believer, I really genuinely believe, and I'm just going to put this out there because I'm someone who, I think once it's out there, it gives people a reason to either squirm with discomfort or go, yeah, I'm in. We are tired. We are exhausted. We've all felt it. But I really believe that God is calling us to march on. So today is about standing up. It's about getting up on our 2 feet. It's about saying, rightio, I'm dusting myself off. I'm tired, but I'm pushing forward because God has called us to march on. He has called us to do more as a community, to stand up, to keep sharing him with those in our world, whether it's neighbours, whether it could be friends, it could be family. There's work to do in this region, and it's exciting because when we are tired, that's when we see his strength. That's when we get rid of all the stuff that we think we need to do, the psychological stuff, the logical stuff, the stuff that makes sense to everyone else. But to him, he's saying, I'll use that, but I've also got some more stuff to use. I'll give you my spirit. My spirit is here. It's amongst you. Let me just do what I need to do. Stand up, rise, fight for me, pray for those you love. Go into this battle with a sense of it's not too much. What I feel is not what is real. It is just for now. You can rest in me. You can rest in me. Give me those problems, but I will restore you. I will build you up. I will fight for you. And I've given you the truth that I will not fail you. So I'm going to just throw that out there. I know that this is a big thing. I am sitting here at the moment. This sounds really, really dumb. Sitting here with my eyes closed because it's the only way that I can shut out what's happening around me. And I have this overwhelming sense that God is going, yeah, that's where I'm going. I want to use my people in the Central Coast region. I want to use them. I want them to be sharp. I want them to be edgy. I want them to be ready. I want them to be a team. I want them to fight for me. I want them to stand up and know that I'm doing some serious stuff in this region. And it doesn't matter if you're going to be moved, if you're going to have things that shake you up. I will restore, I will move, I will do what I need to do. And I think for myself, guys, I'm just going to throw myself back into this personally again. I mentioned just previously we've had to move for the 3rd time. So we've gone back to our house that we own in the Hunter region for a time. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I've said to my husband, I'm giving myself 6 months for me to psychologically process it because anything more, I love being a part of the Central Coast region. I love living here. I love what is happening here. And it hurts that God's going, okay, well, we need to step aside for a bit. I need to pull you out, this way for a bit. I'll be around. I'll be, I'm still very much involved with our church. My husband and I are still pastoring here. We love our church. I love what happens here at Rhema CC. I've got no intention of walking away from anything in terms of ministry. But it's a distraction. It's like, okay, God, how am I supposed to keep moving forward if you're pulling me with this way? Well, he's not. He's just saying, hey, you're 50 minutes up the road. Just that could be you driving to Sydney every day, but instead you're going the opposite direction. So it's just reframing it and just sticking with the idea of I need to march on. I want to just end with this before we go any further. And the reason is because I think it gives us really godly advice in a worldly sense, and it helps us to march on. So let me just start with it. Let's throw it out there. Ephesians 6:10-18. The whole armour of God, a final word. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on all of God's armour so that you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil. For we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authorities of the unseen world, against mighty powers in this dark world, and against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Here we go. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armour so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will still be standing firm. Stand your ground, putting on the belt of truth and the body armour of God's righteousness. For shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, that you will be fully prepared. In addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Put on salvation as your helmet and take the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. Guys, we've got to fight for each other in prayer. That's what we need to do. We need to stand the truth that God's got us. We need to equip ourselves, be prepared for the battle. And we need to, as an army of God, God's kids, stand together, rise together, fight together, love together, and more than anything, pray in the Spirit for each other. I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back soon. See you soon. And that was With You. And my goodness, I am so glad that we are with you here at Rhema CC and that you are here with us. So welcome. Welcome to Sunday morning. We have been talking some awesome things. I am Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host. So I'm here most Sundays, every Sunday, as much as I can possibly be. And this week I kind of ummed and ahed how I was going to do this. It's been a big week. I have mentioned, if you've been listening this morning, it's been a big week just in terms of moving. We've been, we're sort of thrown into the, what do we do sort of scenario again. The house that we were living on the coast has been put up on the market and we went, we've got a house that we own elsewhere that's sitting empty. Maybe it's time to head back and just live in the Hunter for a little bit so we can work out what we're doing, get our bearings right and sort of work out where to from here. But I have absolutely no question in terms of, still marching on, still going ahead and just doing with what God has called us to here in the region. And obviously for my husband, that means pastoring at our church at Gorican. And for me, it means being involved in the not-for-profit that we run, overseeing that. And obviously, what I do here at Rhema CC, it's only a small portion of what happens here, but I love being a part of the team. I think there is just so much stirring God's doing at the moment on the Central Coast, and I have zero interest in going and investing my time or my energy anywhere other than the coast for now. So I'm here as much as I can, even though physically I'll be living or sleeping somewhere else. I'll probably be still living here, but yeah, we'll be back and forth, up and down, and that's okay. It's just how it is. It's one of those things that God calls us to sometimes, to just be prepared to put Him first and to be able to say, yep, I will serve in whatever capacity I can, in whatever location I need to. And if that means there's distance, we'll make a way around it and we'll work around it. So I've seen Him work before, and thankfully I have the trust and I have the experience, I have the evidence. We listened to evidence early this morning that God has moved before. He's not going to leave us now, and He's a God who sees us through those things that we just go, oh, I'm tired. This is too hard to work around. I can't do this. His ways are not our ways. They are far beyond our ways, really. So that's a really encouraging truth. Guys, we're talking about that actually. We're talking about the weariness that we can feel. We've all been through some stuff over the last few years. Every one of us has been through stuff, and the stuff gets heavy and weary, and it's tiresome. I spoke earlier just about the importance of us being a body of believers who stand up and know the truth that God has got us, that He has equipped us, that He has prepared us, and that we have a way to see around the hard stuff, the stuff that leaves us tired, and the stuff that is almost like, well, it's a spiritual battle. It's like this stuff is happening beyond us that we can't see, that leaves us tired. But we've got a God who fights for us, and Jesus has promised us that. I spoke this morning about Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. We've got the truth. We've got the truth that He has got us covered, and He will restore us, and He just renews our spirit when we need us. We've got so many things scripturally in terms of just being able to trust that He does have us. Cast all your anxieties on Him because He cares for you. That's 1 Peter 5:7. It's being prepared sometimes to admit that, hey, I need you to step in and just hold me, God, to carry me and to build me up to a point where I am that soldier that's ready to fight for you in prayer for others. And as a team, guys, we're God's family. We're his teammates. We need to stand up together and Be prepared to fight together. And prayer is certainly the best place to start with that. I want to throw some more scripture at you. I will refresh the weary and satisfy the faint. Jeremiah 31:25. It gives strength to the weary, increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is my strength. Is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Psalm 73:26. For who is God besides the Lord? And who is the rock except our God? It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my way secure. Psalm 31-32. If you can hear a little bit of tapping next to me, I have a little boy that's joining me this morning, my 4-year-old. He's being as perfect as he possibly can, but he is sitting with me. So if you can hear that, I do apologize. This is life, isn't it, guys? This is life, just doing life with family, and family is, this is part of God's way of doing things. So, hey, I guess where I want to go this morning, guys, is if you're tired, and I'm seeing it quite often, I'm seeing people who are exhausted, who feel like God's given up on them, that there's no purpose. Please just keep holding it firmly before Him. And sometimes when your heart can't feel it, your head has to. Sometimes we logically have to go into, I've got scripture before me. Scripture verifies what I can hold on to. I can remember being in Blacktown when I didn't want to be there. And I was at that point where I am so tired of fighting. And I felt nothing. It just absolutely empty because I was just so exhausted from the fight. And I remember looking at my husband, I said to him, the only thing left is for me to hold on to it with my head because my heart feels nothing. I logically have to process it and go, my head tells me that God is not going to leave me. He has not abandoned me. And my heart will catch up to that. I want to encourage you, if you're feeling like that this morning, guys, dig into scripture. Hold on to those words and find the truth that, sometimes we have to start with the psychological. We have to start with the logical. We have to start with the brain. And piece by piece, He can fill up the heart. And vice versa. Sometimes our heart is what is actually motivated. Sometimes it's our heart that feels things before our head can actually process it. Give yourself some time and just keep fighting for Him. Keep fighting for your faith. Don't allow the world to pull you away. He's got you. He's carrying you. And He's not going to leave you abandoned in any way. All right, I'll get out of here before my 4-year-old throws something across the room and I'm having to catch it. All right, see you soon, guys. And that was a good one by Kyra Isaacs. Guys, that was called Image. If you want to look us up, if you want to look the song up, you will find that. If you go to our website, actually, you can check out pretty much everything that's happened. I think it's the last 10 days. I'm pretty sure I heard Eben say that at one point. We have the replay on the website. If there is a song, if it's that song, if it's another song, it doesn't matter what it is. If there is something you have heard that you think, I need to go back and hear that. What was that again? It's on there. You can access it on our website. We also have the podcast on the website, Rhema.cc. And we've got it all. It's awesome. What an awesome team we have here. I am so thankful for the guys that I work with because they do work behind the scenes and prepare all those bits and pieces that we can access at any time. And I think that's one of the things, isn't it? I think a few weeks ago I was talking to Rick. Actually, it was about 2 weeks ago because it was at our open day. I was chatting to him about how beneficial it is to know that we have the radio, this radio station 24 hours, 7 days a week, where people can access the truth that God is a God of love, of persistence, of encouragement, of compassion, of kindness, of peace, of joy, of love, of hope, all those really cool things. And it's right there 24/7. There's something being played constantly that is, spirit moved. It's spirit driven. And we can certainly hold on to that. I'm not someone who is a visual learner. I am someone I tend to be a kinesthetic learner, or a learner who learns through sound or through hearing. So auditory is what we call it. And so for me, I tend to like radio or podcasts or things like that sort of stir me. And Christian radio has pulled me through some very, very dark times. So I'm very, very thankful that here on the coast we have Rhema CC to be able to be that for other people, because, the promise that we've got God speaking consistently when we can't open the Bible and sit and read, we can't process stuff because we're just not there. We're just, might not be in the right headspace or whatever. Sometimes just hearing those things is just such a powerful, powerful tool. So, yeah, we love that you have supported us in providing that. So thank you. Anyway, I've sort of derailed there a little bit, but that's okay. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host. So I've kind of got a few minutes in and then I've forgotten I didn't even introduce myself. How rude of me, but that's okay. We've been talking actually things along the lines of wearisome, sort of that sense of I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm done, I've got nothing else to give God. That sort of sense, and the need to push past it and the need to, well, obviously to recognize it because it's sometimes we just kind of keep pushing through. Sometimes there's that expectation. I think that can be a generational thing. Sometimes I think, the generation before me is probably a generation who they're strong. They got some serious strength to them. And I look at my parents' generation. I think, how do you just do it? But yeah, I think. No. I think every generation has weaknesses. They have strengths. I think our generation, my generation, and the generation below, I think we've got more room for compassion and for more room for understanding and for just the ability to say, hey, I am struggling. Things are heavy. It's tough. So I think every generation has its pluses and minuses. I can certainly see that the generations before me have a strength that is really honourable, and I think we have a lot to learn from each other. So yeah, take a look around you today. Try and notice those people in your world and the things that they carry and what you can learn and adapt from and adopt, the characteristics or traits that you can adopt. So yeah, it's a big one. Anyway, Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you and you only have to be silent. That's a bit of a hard one though, isn't it? Being silent. Who wants to be silent? These are just a few verses that I found on scripturesavvy.com, and it's just about being God's army. So today we've been talking about a few different themes, but based on that sense of weariness. So starting off, if you're at the starting point of being, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I've got nothing to give, and then flipping it and going, but hang on a sec, I'm one of God's kids, I'm one of his army men. I've got to get myself together. I've got to focus on what it is that he's calling me to be. Because I really do believe that what he is doing, what God is doing in this space, in this, this region at the moment, I believe he's stirring a lot of people, and I believe he's waking and shaking, and he's calling us to be prepared to stand firm for him amongst the stuff that sways us. I know we've all been tested and tried over the last few years especially, but he's calling us to remember each other and to fight for each other in prayer and protection and provision. If we have something to offer, he's calling us to provide if we can do that. He's calling us to stand up and back each other up. He's calling on us to support one another, to love openly, to be there for each other. And I think that starts with a willingness to know that we can't do it without him. We've got to use him. Joshua 5:13-15, when Joshua was by Jericho, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a man was standing before him with his drawn sword in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, are you for us or for our adversaries? And he said, no, but I am the commander of the army of the Lord. Now I have come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and worshipped and said to him, what does my Lord say to his servant? We see the theme of the army, the battle, of the need to protect each other time and time again in the Bible. And obviously we're not talking physically protecting each other, and hopefully we don't ever have to get to a point where we do that. But being willing to stand before stand up for those in our life that we care about, that we love, that we respect, and work for God. Sometimes comes at a cost. It does come at a cost. It's one of those things that I could go into a lot more heavy stuff this morning because I see some real warriors out there. I think there's some amazing people doing some amazing things, and they are getting slammed for it. And if we turn our back on them and we just go, oh, well, we can't support that, then who are we standing for? Are we standing for it's that hot and cold thing. Mike, my husband, actually preached on that this last week. He was talking about, the church in Revelation where, it's that I'll spit you out of my mouth. You can't be lukewarm. You've got to be the hot or cold. Who are you standing for? And being God's army, we need to be prepared to know what we need to stand for. How do we fight hard? We need to know what matters to God. We need to know our scriptures so we can fight for what is important to Him. And we can fight for each other. We can fight for each other in prayer, in protection, in provision. Pray, guys. Pray is praying and prayer is such a massive part of. It's such a massive part of all of it. It's what is going to get us to the end, and it's going to pull us out of that wearisome state, and pull us into a place of obviously being renewed in ourselves, but being an army of God. And we got some work to do. So let's do it. Let's do it together, and let's keep praying for each other here on the Central Coast region. I'm going to pull things together and just kind of close now. We are about to have church on the radio, and I hope you've been able to get some little drops of wisdom there that, if you're in that state of it's just too much, God's not done with you yet. He is not done with you yet. There's still breath in your lungs. There's still a heart that's ticking away there. He's not done. And from your living room, you might think physically, I can't do anything. I'm in a hospital bed. You can pray. You can pray for others. You can pray for yourself. You can be that miracle. You don't know what God is going to do. Open yourself up to Him and say, I'm yours. And together, if every one of us is saying, I'm yours, my goodness, what a movement. Let's stand firm. Let's keep moving together. I'm going to see you guys next week. Have an awesome one. I hope you are. Hope you're able to get some rest today. All right. See you soon.